What's poppin', fellow nerds? Today I'm going to be going over my BlackWarGreymon deck profile that I just used at my locals last night. So let's get into it. So I'm going to go over the list that I actually played, and then I'm going to go over the changes I would make because this definitely was not a perfect list. Starting off with our Digitama, so we have 4 Kapurimon. That is our 4 of Egg. That is your turn while this Digimon has reboot, it gets plus 1000 DP. And then the 5th egg is the Structure Deck Kapurimon, and it's your turn when this Digimon has blocker, it gets 1000 DP. Honestly, I would rather just play 4 eggs almost, but like you do need that draw sometimes in games that drag out. Because this one is not very good in this list. Like it does come up, but not anywhere near as often as this one. Also, I'm trying a different layout today, so let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments below. Alright, and for our rookies, we are playing 4 Toy Agumon. His inheritable gives this Digimon reboot. Very good. I wish I could just play like 16 of this card. Like this card is so ridiculously good. Hopefully they come out with more black level 3s that give reboot as an inheritable, but yeah, you always want to see this card. This card is fantastic. And then we have 4 more Toy Agumon. This is from the structure deck. This is inheritable into opponent's turn. If your opponent didn't attack with a Digimon this turn, trigger, draw 1. If your opponent is not swinging, like if they're trying to build up something in their raising area or they just open kind of slow, this lets you just like a snowball advantage against them because you just get to draw an extra card at the end of every single one of their turns. Very good. And our next rookie, we have 4 of the promo Sonorizamon, however you say it. So he has 2 effects. His main effect is your turn, all of your black Digimon with 13,000 DP or more gain piercing, which is pretty good. And his inheritable is while this Digimon is black and has 13,000 DP or more, this Digimon gains security attack +1. And that's the main reason why we're playing him, but him having this effect as well is pretty cool. And that's it for our rookies. We are running 12. And on to our champions. We are playing 4 Dark Tyrannomon from the structure deck. 1 to Digivolve blocker. Him having 5,000 DP does kind of suck because he just gets nuked by WarGreymon. But he would have to have 2,000 more DP just not to auto die. But the main reason why you're playing him is because he's a cheap Digivolve. Him just being a blocker is just a cool thing to have when you're not playing against yellow WarGreymon specifically. Or Nidhoggmon, lol. And our next champion, 4 of the Greymon from BT2. His inheritable is your turn while this Digimon has reboot, it gains jamming. This is insane. If you stack a Toy Agumon that gives something reboot and then this card together and then just pile on top of them, you just have jamming, you can just start poking for free. And have reboot so like they can't swing into you on your turn. Very good card. Really like seeing this one. And then our last champion, we are playing 3 of the structure deck Greymon. He has the same effect as the structure deck Toy Agumon. His inheritable is end of your opponent's turn. If your opponent didn't attack with a Digimon this turn, draw 1. Good for snowballing advantage against your opponent when they open slow or just for some reason don't want to attack. And that's it for our champions. We are playing 11. And on to our ultimates. We are playing 4 Gogmamon. This guy is very good. So his main is Digiburst 1, and then one of your Digimon gets plus 2,000 DP until the end of your opponent's turn, which is pretty cool. And then his inheritable is all turns. This Digimon gets plus 1,000 DP, so he's just good all around. Like seeing him is awesome because he can just like come out and pump one of your guys up huge. He can actually, if you have a full stack underneath him, he can become 13,000 just by himself, which is pretty nice. But yes, we do love seeing that card. And then our next champion, we are playing 4 Metal Greymons. This guy is very good. We love seeing this as well. He has reboot just by himself naturally. Very good. And then his inheritable is your turn while this Digimon has reboot, it gains security attack +1. Very good to get underneath a Digimon if you have the Greymon and the Toy Agumon that gives it reboot, or if it just has reboot naturally. You get to just check 1 security extra, and then you have jamming if you have that Greymon underneath him. But very good. And then our last ultimate, we are playing 2 Andromon. This deck is not black blocker. It's an OTK deck, so this is just kind of an afterthought, honestly. Like, this card is not super great in this meta because Yellow WarGreymon makes him 1,000 DP on your turn if you're lucky, or on their turn if you're lucky. And then if they have like a Cormon or a Salamon underneath it, it just gets blown up for free. So like, Not a huge fan of this card anymore. And that is it for our ultimates. We are playing 10. And now on to our megas. We are playing 3 BlackWarGreymon from the Great Dash Pack. His effect is main Digiburst 2, unsuspend this Digimon. So if you have a full stack underneath him, you can actually unsuspend him twice. So you can swing 3 times. And if you have the right stack underneath him or certain cards in play, you can just check. You can actually kill people just with this card alone. Because you can like just check 3 security on one hit and then the rest of them on the other hit and then kill them, swing directly for game on the 3rd hit. That is a perfect, like, ideal situation with a perfect stack and whatnot. But it is possible. But most of the time you're just going to be clearing out all their security with this guy. And then our next mega, we are running 3 WarGreymon. Black WarGreymon, but not BlackWarGreymon. His effect is he has blocker and he has reboot. A very good card, less good with all the yellow WarGreymon running around. But against most other decks, they have a very hard time dealing with this card. Very good. If you have the metal Greymon underneath him, you can just swing for security +1. If you have Greymon underneath him, you get to so check 2 security and have jamming. So he's a good slow pace card, but against yellow WarGreymon, he is not the best because he just drops down to 5k, and then like you can't really block much at 5k unless you just want to die. And then our last mega. So I put this guy in because I could, but that does not mean this is a good card. And game 1, round 1, I immediately knew that it was a mistake to do it, but I wanted to do it because I could. We are playing 2 of the BlackWarGreymon from BT2. Such a beautiful card. By far my favorite card art in the game so far, but for it to Digivolve just is not good enough. And like his effect is cool, it's situationally good, but it's not consistently good. So his effect is while your opponent has Digimon with 10,000 DP or more in play, reduce the memory cost to play this card from your hand by 6. So you can drop him for 7. If they have a big Digimon on the field. Comes up, it never came up in 4 rounds of locals, but and then when attacking, if you attack your opponent's Digimon with the highest DP, unsuspend this Digimon. So this is really cool if your opponent gets like super bold and just swings with their entire board, and you have enough memory, which is the catch, to Digivolve into this guy. You can just clear their entire board and then actually just check one of their security. Never came up in 4 rounds. Honestly, it would probably hardly ever come up for that effect. Like, it's cool swinging over a dude and then unsuspending, but this guy was literally a vanilla 12k anytime I Digivolved into him in 4 rounds of locals. He's definitely getting cut at the end of the video whenever I show you the updated list for this, but beautiful card. I played it just because this is the first deck I could put it in, so but don't play this card. And that's it for our megas. We are running 8. And on to our level 7 megas, we are running 2 Chaosmon. So this is an OTK deck, and this guy lets you just finish them off or clear a Digimon and set up to just game them the following turn. This is basically like green OTK, except for I would say probably less consistent, but it has a different playstyle as well. But you just swing for all their security or most of their security and then Digivolve into this guy and then swing over one of their huge Digimon and clear the rest of their security with his piercing. But his effect is piercing, so he just has piercing. He's 14,000 DP, and when Digivolving, unsuspend this Digimon, then it can attack your opponent's Digimon. This effect allows you to attack unsuspended Digimon as well. So you just swing for all their security or most of their security, and then you Digivolve into this guy, he unsuspends, and then you can just swing into any one of their guys, and odds are he's going to be big enough to run over anything on their side of the field. So he's pretty good just to clear big boss threats. And on to our Tamers. So if you didn't notice, we actually have a lot of Greymon in this deck. Just variants of Greymon, Metal Greymon, WarGreymon, BlackWarGreymon. So my Tamer is actually Marcus Damon. Izzy is, like, the Izzy memory setter for Black is mediocre. I'm not a huge fan. And the memory setting tie does nothing because you're not playing Black blocker. So his DP bump on your opponent's turn is like irrelevant 9 times out of 10. But his effect is, start of your turn, if you have 2 memory or less, set your memory to 3, of course. And then he says, your turn, when one of your Digimon with Greymon in its name attacks, other than BlackWarGreymon, Burning Greymon, and BlackWarGreymon, you may suspend this Tamer to gain 1 memory. So you swing with one of your Greymons, any one of them, you tap it and just gain a memory. Very good. If this guy gets out on the field early and you just start swinging in, like, it lets you gain a lot of momentum because you're just getting extra memory every turn for free, essentially. But very good card. It also gives you access to certain cards you'll see in just a moment. On to our options. So this is an OTK deck, so we are running Final Zubagon Punch. This is a 2-cost option. Security effect is add this card to its owner's hand, so you get to use it whenever you want. It being in security isn't a big deal. The effect is main. One of your Digimon gets plus 3000 DP until the end of your opponent's next turn. Then, if that Digimon has 16,000 DP or more, that Digimon gains blocker, reboot, and security attack +1 until the end of your opponent's next turn. So this is very good. There's no color restriction on this card, so you can actually, if this guy's on the field, you can actually Final Zubagon Punch him, and he's always going to be over 16k when you do that. So it gives him blocker, reboot, and security +1, which is pretty cool. It does come up occasionally, but the main thing you want to do with this is just activate this, target your BlackWarGreymon, the good one, and then swing repeatedly for multiple security checks. And then on their turn, he has reboot and blocker, and he's going to be huge when you hit that threshold, because this is until the end of their next turn. Very good card. You don't want to play more than 2 though, because it will clog your hand. You really only need 2. You'll see it most of the time, and you don't even need it to actually OTK people. It's just an easier card to OTK people with. And our last 2 options and last 2 cards in the deck, a delicate plan. So playing a red memory setter, memory setting Tamer gives you access to red option cards, obviously. This is a 1-cost option. Securities, add this card to your hand. Okay. And main, one of your Digimon gains. This Digimon doesn't activate the security effects of any cards it checks for the turn. So this actually was errated. They haven't printed it with the errata yet, but this actually is, this Digimon doesn't activate the security effects of option cards it checks. So this is literally the WarGreymon from BT1's effect, just on an option card. So ideal dream scenario, you activate this on your BlackWarGreymon, and you Final Zubagon Punch, and then you just swing for everything, and then you're going to be beating over literally any card in the game, and you're not going to check any options, so you don't have anything to worry about. So this actually originally was going to be 2 Gaia Force, which is probably better in most situations, but I was tinkering with this idea because I know that red-yellow security control is about to see an uptick. And when I got to locals last night, I saw that like 5 people were running purple, and purple has access to all kinds of destruction options and all kinds of crazy option cards, like Nailbone lets them bring back 2 Digimon from the, or lets them bring back 1 Digimon from the trash, level 4 or lower. Hell's Gate deletes a Mega Digimon, and Trump Sword deletes an unsuspended Digimon. So like, there's just all kinds of stuff in there. Security. Also, Jack Raid lets them gain 2 memories, so like it could end your turn prematurely. So I decided to play this. This ended up never coming up ever, so I'm not gonna play it again. If I play yet red-yellow security control, I'll just figure it out from there. I mean, this is more of a win more card against red-yellow security control, in my opinion, if you know how to play against that deck. I'm not saying it's an easy match, but it's something you can play through if you are familiar with how their deck runs. But that is it for the deck profile of the deck I took to locals last night. I did go X1. I ended up winning until the final round, where I got 2-0'd by Purple Metal Garurumon. He opened the ideal stack, games 1 and 2, where he just built a Metal Garurumon and then just nail-boned and necrophobia'd, and just like, I couldn't do anything both games. I bricked really hard game 2, and game 1 I just did not open very well. But the deck is very good, and it can be improved very easily, and I'm about to go into what I would do differently. So let's get into what I would change in this deck. Alright, and for what I would change in this deck to make it significantly better, starting off with the Digitama, same 5, no changes needed here. And for the rookies, essentially the same lineup. Boom, boom, boom. And I would just add 2 more. I would add 2 of the Sonorizamon or Sonorizamon from BT4. And this is just your turn when this card is trashed due to activating this Digimon's Digiburst effect. Return this card to its owner's hand. I would just wanted to add 2 more rookies, just to draw rookies a little more consistently to bump it to 14. And this is pretty much the best one. It'll come up sometimes because obviously you do have Digiburst effects in here. But there weren't any other rookies that I really wanted to play over this. Because, like, if you play either one of the level 3 blockers that Black has access to, they're just going to get blown up for free. Or Nidhoggmon to this format. So, like, you want Digimon that you Digivolve on top of for your rookies in this format. And so that bumps the rookie count up to 14, like I said. And then for the champion lineup, the champion lineup also gets a little bit of a change. And that changes... I cut the 3 Greymon from the structure deck and replaced him with Gargemon. So he's a 5 play cost, 2 to Digivolve, 7,000 DP blocker. The only catch is he cannot attack. But him being 7,000 DP is very important because he does not get blown up for free by BlackWarGreymon by himself. Yes, he can get blown up if BlackWarGreymon has Koromon or Salmon underneath him, but just BlackWarGreymon just womboing doesn't just get to nuke him for free. So 7,000 DP is a very important threshold for this format because BlackWarGreymon is a deck. So that's why he is this one and not Kurisarimon or the Sealsdramon blocker, because those just get blown up by BlackWarGreymon. So still 11 champions. The ultimate lineup does get a change as well. So we are still running 4 Gogmamon, not going to change that. 4 Metal Greymon, not going to change that. But we did cut the 2 Andromon because him being a 7,000 blocker as an ultimate honestly doesn't even matter. He's not going to stay on the field very much in this format, so you don't feel safe playing him and just being like, all right, he's a blocker. So I replaced him with 2 Megadramons from the structure deck. Megadramon is 7,000 DP, important threshold, and his inheritable is blocker. So he gives all of your megas and level 7 megas blocker, which is very important. Also, because of the 5th Digitama egg that we're running, the Kurisarimon that gives plus 1000 DP if it's a blocker, this actually turns your megas and 7s into blockers, so that gives him 1000 DP bump, which will come up. He's definitely better than having an Andromon on the field. And we're still running 10. And then for our megas, we changed this lineup just a little bit. Obviously, we cut the bad BlackWarGreymon. RIP, my friend. You're such a beautiful card, but you are poo-poo trash. And we are playing 4 full playset of BlackWarGreymon, the good one. You always want to see this card. There were games at my locals last night where if I had this card, I could have killed them like 1 or 2 turns before I either won or lost. This card is amazing. You always want to see it playing 4. And then we are still playing just 3 WarGreymon, so we cut our Mega line up to 7. This one is less important, but it is still very good. This guy is what you want to get to. You just want to kill people. Like, this is not a slow roll deck, this format. This is, I'm going to try to kill you before you kill me. So that is it, and we're just running 7 megas. And then on to our level 7s. We actually changed the lineup as well. So we're still running 2 Chaosmon. It's an OTK deck, Chaosmon, duh. But we are also running 2 Alter S. So I added this because he isn't out to things that Chaosmon doesn't out very easily, or he's just a better way around them, like Millenniumons, just any level 7s. And also he just clears big boards, which Black does obviously has a problem with. So you don't want your opponent to just go wide on you, and you can just boop, drop this down. And also, fun fact, so you can Final Zubagon punch this guy, and you can make him unblockable with his effect. So for those of you that don't know, his effect is when Digivolving, trigger Digivolve 1 on all of your opponent's Digimon, then delete all of your opponent's Digimon with 5,000 DP or less. So this clears entire boards, and his second effect is when attacking, you may make this Digimon unblockable for the turn by returning one of its level 6 Digivolution cards to your hand. So it lets you reuse your level 6s and then make him unblockable. So you can Final Zubagon punch this guy, and he could potentially be checking like 2 or 3 security, maybe even 4, I think, in some situations. and boom, make them unblockable, check all your security. Nothing you can do about it. And then if you final Zubagon Punch, he's going to have Reboot and Blocker, which is pretty nice. A very good card. I feel a lot better about this deck having access to this card again. And then onto our Tamers. We did cut Marcus down to 2. I do want to see this card, but honestly, playing 3 is just a little too much. It has a tendency to kind of clog your hand, and I'm no longer playing red option cards, as you'll see, so I don't need to have this card on the field for those situations that no longer have to come up. And last 2 cards of the deck, still running 2 Final Zubagon Punch. This is the OTK kill card, and obviously you want to play this card. No reason to play 3. Playing 1's too few, playing 3's too many. 2's the perfect number. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you guys try this out. It is a very fun deck to use. It's not tier 1. Don't get that twisted. It is not tier 1. Don't take this to a big event and expect to do well unless you just play perfectly and don't have people playing tier 1 decks that just open the nuts against you. But I appreciate you guys stopping by. Don't forget to let me know your thoughts on this deck list and my new layout in the comments below. But until next time, see ya.